Woo.
Woo! Hey everybody, welcome. Do you like your picture?
I'm working on hosting the channel. It's not letting me. Why?
Oh, I need to do that.
There we
Oh
go.
goodness, thank you for the host. I hate it when you guys host before the stream starts. I swear to God. I mean, after the stream starts, I hate it when y'all do that because it always like bling in my ears.
I do like my picture.
I knew you would. Anyway, welcome everybody. Welcome to the Whirlwind Night Crew show. Penguins is with us in voice. He doesn't have a camera right now, so obviously there's a placeholder kind of picture of him. And then Jared's never with us in voice, but he's with us in our hearts. So, yeah. So don't expect Jared to talk, okay? But yeah. I'm the only.
I should just have him like on like a soundboard and just like, I'm here.
That's what I need to do. I would feel weird though to make like a Jared soundboard. I feel so weird, but I'm sure like if I ever made a Jared soundboard, like the rest of the community would instantly like be like, "Hey, can I get that Jared soundboard? Can I get that Jared soundboard?" Everybody would want a piece of it. You know what I mean?
You know what you do though is you straight face them and say like, what Jared soundboard? He's here.
Yeah, what are you guys talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. Jared's here. And then it'd be like, yeah, I'm here with Buster the Destroyer. Because I do,
Like
I mean, all that, yeah.
Like off of that one clip. It'll sound like super like Shatnerish, but you know, it'll be good.
Yeah, it'd be good. It'd be good. So again, welcome everybody. Welcome to the show. As like I said, Penguins is with us. He just doesn't have a camera, and then of course Jared is just with us in spirit as always and in our hearts. And it's been kind of a dull week for Star Citizen. There's not been a lot of news going on lately, so this show's probably gonna be a little different than usual, just because there's basically a major lack of news for Star Citizen. We're in like kind of the quiet period right now. But I hope that I hope, and I'm sure Penguins also hopes that you all had a very excellent New Year, celebration, whatever it was, even if it was just hanging out at home, falling asleep on your couch. I hope it was excellent. But Penguins, how have you been this week? What's been going on, buddy?
I personally hope that you all had a very concerning. No, just kidding.
I hope you got wow, Jim.
But yeah. Sorry, what did you ask?
I asked you how you been, you doofus.
I've been doing all right for a guy that's, had a root canal today, been on a bunch of meds and stuff, so, yeah. But what about yourself?
I've been pretty good, just kind of hung out at home for New Year's, and of course I wasn't hosting last week's show, so it's like I have 2 weeks of hey, how have I been to catch up on. As I was telling you before we started, literally right before we started, had some interesting things going down in the last 2 weeks with at least like about a week ago with I was playing with Jude Lux and a few people, and then Shadow Moses got him, and now I'm friends with Shadow Moses. I hung out with Shadow Moses earlier this week. Not necessarily in game, but they had me over in their Discord server, and we just had some nice, interesting discussions about the game, about how people play it, etc., etc. For those of you who aren't aware of Shadow Moses, they are a very well-known PvP kind of group in Star Citizen. They actually will demand taxes from people trading, and if you're in a server and then there's members of Shadow Moses and you're trying to trade, they're probably going to try to demand taxes or some kind of payment from you for them to not kill you. So it's been an interesting week, and because of that whole the whole thing with Shadow Moses, we started a new segment on my stream called Space Court, where I just end up I tell the viewers bring me your grievances, whether it's against other players, it's against the game itself, CIG, any kind of grievance that's related to Star Citizen. I tell people to bring it, and we just do this whole thing where we play the People's Court theme. And because the People's Court theme is 44 seconds, I generally will finish my ruling in about that time, so that and also it makes it way more clippable for Twitch, obviously, because if it's under a minute, it's really, You know, and like somebody brought Captain Richards to space court. I even instigated bringing Sergeant Tickles to space court over trying to touch Igo's face while she's got a bunch of makeup on, you know, that kind of thing. So it's been kind of it's been an interesting week for my content. I feel like some stuff has been happening, just some inspiration happened, and now it's like just this thing. So I've been really enjoying it. But I mean, other than that, I've been doing pretty good. So it's been pretty good. You have the best hair. What? Excuse you. Look at my hair.
If you look at my fabulous like yellow hair there,
I know. I freaking picked that fiction. I picked that picture for you. I know that it was a great picture. Jude has not been brought to Spaceport Sigma Tech. But yeah. Oh, we need to make sure we retweet the tweet. I should remember that. But yeah. So I'm glad. I'm sorry about your root canal though. Like that's rough. That's rough.
Nothing like. There's another discussion. I don't want to go too far down it, but good old socialized military medicine. 2 weeks to get in and get a cracked tooth taken care of.
Right. Yeah. Lord Almighty. I can't imagine that. But yeah, I guess we'll just start hopping into it. And guys, since it's just the two of us tonight, if you have any questions, please put them forward. Exclamation point question will tell you how to do that. Please pose any questions that you wish to the two of us. And by the way, it's worth noting, like, this is, you know, Penguins is like the manager of the night crew, and I am the assistant manager. So basically you're getting a management stream right now, which is kind of interesting. It's been I think it's been over like almost a year since the two of you and I, it was just you and I.
Yeah, it's been like since when you first joined the team.
Because I remember there being like one particular, because when you were still hosting the show, I remember there being one night where it was just me and you, and that's like the last time I can remember it was just the two of us. So that's interesting. But anyway, so yeah, if you know, we're the management of the night crew. But sorry, I was pulling up Trello. So I'm not sure if you've been playing this week, but of course this is about when we do bug of the week. So do you have any bugs for the week?
So the last time I played was this last weekend, and saw a lot of the same ones I saw last week, which is, you know, people with no heads. There's all sorts of issues, especially in my case. It's kind of frustrating that Star Marine is completely just horrible this patch.
Yeah.
Most likely we're going to end up pushing Mayhem. We'll talk more about that, but most likely that stuff's going to get pushed. But yeah, it's been that's probably been my biggest annoying one, is just all the bugs, like losing your weapons and
or your reload not working.
Yeah, still seeing the one where if you shoot and it doesn't actually shoot because of animation lockout.
Yeah.
Well, I got to talking with a few people and figured out that it's an animation lockout. For some reason, some animations, when you do them and you try to do another one the other way, it actually locks it out and puts like a timer in there. So you have to wait for that to end and then try again. Which, you know, doing a serial animation in FPS is not good. You need to be able to do multiple motions at the same time.
Yeah.
Or at least cancel the prior one. But what about you yourself?
I actually, while I've been listening to you, I've also been like racking my brain for bugs. Oh, you know what? It's been really annoying me is sometimes my missiles aren't even on my like I'll restock and all that, or I'll reclaim a ship. Like basically, I'm at a point like, you know, I should have fresh missiles, and it's not going. Like obviously that's a bug. It has to be a bug. It can't just be that like my missiles are missing, because my ship has missiles, and they're not. You know, I can click the little middle mouse button a million times and it won't shoot off missiles. So I've been that's been my bug that, you know, I prefer to have a funny bug for bug of the week, but because everybody else usually, especially when we have a bigger group, it seems like everybody always has like a god damn it kind of bug. But I don't have any funny bugs recently. It's all just been that one really. That's been the one that's been kind of really annoying me. That and like when you go hand mining and like you start picking up rocks and some of them they just literally disappear from your hand, or they disappear like they just they just fall through, it's like you're about to pick them up and they just start disappearing. So
And they just stream
that's
out. Yeah.
yeah, so that one's been, and I know that's probably related to socks, in
Yeah,
some
definitely.
capacity. So, and maybe my missile bug is too. I don't know, but yeah, that's been kind of annoying and kicking my butt a little bit. But whatever, it is what it is. But and that takes us right into, well, let's go over the CIG shows and news. So we're still, CIG is still like doing the whole like, what is it, about three for the first 3 weeks after patch they're supposed to not do inside Star Citizen. I don't even, and they didn't do Star Citizen live last week, I don't think, in the week of Christmas.
I think they all start getting back today because they also had like a break for holidays and stuff. So
Yeah, which absolutely they, totally deserve that. So yeah, so we may see a Star Citizen live tomorrow. Who knows? I know that Jared's been off and gallivanting in Disney World in Orlando, so
yeah,
he's been having a good time doing that with his family. Good old Dad Lando, but hopefully we'll get Star Citizen live tomorrow. If not, probably another week, and we'll have probably next week we'll have all the content back. And it's worth noting, and I have this kind of right under that in one, actually it's one of the subjects in the CIG and news section on our Trello board. But, and I'm sure you guys talked about this last week. January is kind of usually like a bit of a dark month for CIG. It's when they're like planning for the rest of this year. So do
yeah.
expect like roadmaps, things like that, to be a little bit like on the pause, because they're literally just going to be planning what's going to happen for the rest of the year this month, with like meetings, all kinds of stuff going on. So, but with that said, one thing that is coming up, which should be, I believe, the 7th. There was a holiday. There was a Christmas card contest on the website, which should have been like, I think the deadline for entries was New Year, like January 1st. And so I think the 7th is when they are going to be done judging that contest and deciding who gets the prizes and whatnot. So look out for that
That'll be interesting.
if anybody participated, or if you just want, if you're curious to see like what ends up winning or what kinds of entries went in. I actually did like 4 entries. I did 4 entries into that. So I'm hoping I shake something loose, but who knows? They probably sit there and go, oh, we're not gonna give it to Buster. She's a content creator. We don't want to make her, we don't want to float her boat there too much. And Erebus says, I've encountered a bug where if you chase an 890 jump very closely, it will despawn and then reappear. However, your ship will find itself inside of the 890 hangar. Wow, it happened twice with your Hawk and Vanguard. That's interesting, Erebus. That's a pretty good one, actually.
I've
But
had also the one where like just my 890, and this is one that he reminded me of,
uh
where just my 890 will blow up in the hangar when I spawn it.
that's funny. That's
That's annoying
that's
too.
hilarious though. Like that's I think that's hilarious. I think that's great. But
It only happens on Hurston, I think, too, which is
oh,
another
just on
interesting bit.
Hurston.
Yeah.
Interesting. 890 is probably like, sucks. Why are you doing this to me? But again, so the CIG holiday contest should be judged, and prizes, I think, handed out by the 7th, to the top 3. And then what else is going on? And I already mentioned January's a dark month. And I see you
Another
have
one.
some.
So it's actually kind of an interesting thing to talk about, that CIG is starting to give content creators ships to give away. That's we haven't seen them do that for quite a long time. I think just like one for like big events and stuff like that in the past, but this time they gave like 5 of them, 6 of them out to different content creators.
Yeah, and I remember like at the like saying I'm trying to say last year without feeling weird about it. Last year I saw a couple times, like I remember there was one point where like Nerd had something to give away, and I can't remember what it was. I know he at one point he got sponsored to give something away. I don't remember, but at the time I was thinking, was he the only one that had that happen? Like maybe, and I can't remember when that was, but I do remember him having one within the last couple months. But yeah, it was cool to see them give. Yeah, they had like for like what was it? Kind of your top dogs, like what was it? It was Tickles, Astropub. I heard
Yeah,
that they had actually offered one to Board Gamer, but he's like a big, he doesn't like to take that stuff from C. He doesn't.
yeah. No, he
He
wants to keep that separation.
Yeah, he likes to keep
Um,
that wall up between him and CIG, and I respect that for him because a guy like him, he's definitely like trying to be like not necessarily like against the game, but he tries to keep a fair criticism of the game without feeling like he has to say nice thing.
yeah, and then Uber Nerd got one as well. So did
Yeah, Uber
crap,
Nerd.
wait,
There's like two
the
others
guy
then.
that leads up the redacted. WTFO is Source got
Oh,
one.
WTFosaurus. Yeah, I don't know who the last one is. I can't remember. But yeah, but
Oh,
that's
yeah.
cool. I think that's a really
Oh,
cool
Captain
thing.
Richard.
Oh yeah, Captain. Of course, Captain Richard. He's yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's awesome that those guys got those to give away. And it shows that they're like trying to kind of, in a way, like because that supports the streamer too, right? Because the streamer's going to get more viewership. I mean, we all know this. If you do giveaways, you're just going to get more viewership. Period. I mean, sure, there's going to be plenty of people there just to do the giveaway, but it gets people interested. You know what I mean? It sort of incentivizes people to watch the streams. So it's not just beneficial to CIG's image, but it's also beneficial to the streamers themselves. So I think that's pretty cool. I'm glad to hear that they're doing it a little more, like especially with something like and I also think it's one of their ways of trying to really get people interested in that in the whatever the particular ship is that they have going. And who was that just did that?
TV Liquid.
David Liquid. Thank you for the host, my dear. How you doing? I'll give
Yeah,
him a
no,
shout
like
out.
I definitely see it as a very much so a positive. Um, you know, at first I was like, well, that's kind of picking favoritism, but at the
Eh,
same time, I'm also kind of looking like, well, A, they deserve it. Those guys have all been busting their butts that they gave it to. But
yeah.
B, it's better they gave it to some than none.
Yeah,
Because it's
and
showing that they're trying, right? Like it shows that they're actually trying to work with content creators that have been kind of taking the brunt sometimes of some of their horrible patches and stuff.
I
Like,
mean, honestly, when and I'm not trying to toot our horns or anything or anybody. Really, I'm thinking about those like all the streamers in general. I'm thinking about just the streamers, and yeah, I mean, we're the ones who I mean, the CIG has like their depart. They have Disco get on and do 2 shows a week, yada yada. And I'm not trying to minimize the work that they do on their own content, but it's not like we're sitting there, and we as in like all the streamers, we sit there and we'll be streaming and people will be asking us about like the game and asking us kind of the base level questions of like when's this coming out, and like a lot of times we kind of have to in some cases defend the game when people are naysaying it, right? Like I think, and it's not like a white knight thing, it's just more like I feel like a lot of us, like, we don't try to white knight it, we just try to be more like, look, like here's the facts, or here's what I know and here's what I think, but like this is all I can give you. Like I think there's probably, I mean, there's probably is some white knighting. I mean, if anybody in like at least in the night crew could be a white knight of the game, it'd probably be me. But I'm not like, I'm more of a, like, I also try to look at it from a realistic standpoint of view. And so, you know, I've had a few moments where I've had to be like, "Hey, the game's here's like a whole multitude of reasons why the game isn't released yet." When people come in my stream and say stuff like that, but I do think it's important that CIG does recognize, and it sounds like they are now. Like, and I think they always have. They just have been struggling to find like ways to kind of make that translate over to us. Is like, we support their project, and we I think probably more than any other group in game involved in the community, streamers and content and just content creators in general, even people on YouTube, are the most responsible for getting the game, drumming up interest in the game all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, obviously CIG does their own marketing and stuff like that, and they do their own work with it. But a lot of that stuff, like the community is involved. Like the community's watching that. I mean, there's definitely people I've heard, like I've known over the years, that are like, I don't have an account, I don't back it, but I have been very interested in the project for many years and that kind of thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. TV, like we don't work for them, but we love them, and we do. But at the same time, a lot of us, I think like there's definitely quite a few of us content creators that like we love them, but at the same time, we're gonna still say like when we don't agree with something that's going on or how something's being handled, and not necessarily anything serious here, but just like I've been hearing a lot of people like lately, like like for example, there's somebody in the Dallas bar citizen group who has been traditionally been a coordinator for the last few years, and he's actually backing down. And part of the reason he's backing down is he's just got a bit of a sour taste in his mouth over the current marketing that CIG is pulling, which again, like, you know, which for him is it comes down to the fact that they're always like selling ships. They're still selling ships, and you know, I get that to a certain degree, but at the same time, I always say, like, this is what I always say about that issue is CIG is gonna sell ships until Squadron 42 is released. Like they're really gonna keep doing this shit, this concept, like occasional concept sell, and then have these. Now been getting into the flyable, like straight to flyable sales, and they're gonna keep
You
doing
think
that.
whenever Squad 42 comes out that they're going to stop?
I
Because I
think
don't.
I don't think they're gonna stop. I think they're just it's not gonna be as needed because Squadron 42 is gonna be like once Squadron 42 is out, hopefully it's gonna be really be the thing that pays the bills. Because right now
Yeah.
it's the ship sales that pay the bills.
Well, and I mean, they've missed a lot of other areas, right? Like merchandise, they've just started to finally figure out that they can make some money off that. And even with that, they haven't gotten that far. Um, and I always look at them and go like, it's like they're always late to the game, and because of that, people are always suspicious of them. But I honestly think that all the way through, even once the game is released, that they'll still do like, you know, an initial ship sell option if you want to get it with real cash. And then I think after that, it'll just be you have to buy in game. But
Yeah. But who knows? I mean, as things go on, we'll see what happens. But at the end of the day, I am very happy that one of their marketing kind of, I guess, and it has to be part of the marketing budget for them to give these
it is.
ships to streamers to give away to their communities. I think it's fantastic, and
Well, then
I'm glad. And like you said, the people who've been getting them totally deserve them, and good for them, and I'm very happy for them. And it's just nice to see like this starting to happen more and more with the company and between like the content creators and the company itself.
and totally props to Xylo for, you know, starting to get this put in place.
Yeah, I mean
But
he's the one that's really like his job is community manager, but to a certain degree he's also like because they don't have content as far as I know. I mean maybe they do. I would think we would know who it is if they had a content creator relations person.
they don't.
They don't. Yeah, that's
Um,
what I'm saying. They don't, and I'm sure we would if they had one. But basically,
it's shared
Tyler
between
fills that.
Xylo and Tyler and Molly are the
Yeah,
two that fill that role. Yeah,
and Molly's
they kind of
awesome.
share it.
We both met
Molly's
her at TwitchCon, so she was really cool.
It's
I
still
love
funny,
Molly.
hilarious that every single point that I talked to her about that we needed within Star Marine is what they announced with Theaters of War. I was like, huh.
Interesting.
But um, you know, the other big thing that I always kind of look at is they the content creators are the ones that usually answer the questions, right? Because
Yeah,
players aren't stupid. They're what I mean by this is players aren't stupid. They see all this great marketing and all this stuff, and they're like, yeah, but how is it really? And they usually come to a content creator to get that actual true opinion because they trust a guy or gal or
and
whatever
same
on
with like
screen.
just people thinking about like who are interested in the project who don't play it too. Like you know, there's a lot of that too, where people are like, "Ooh, like I just saw this really cool visual teaser, and I thought I'd come watch some streams about this game and see what's going on." And so it's like you get everything from people who know nothing about Star Citizen to people who already know quite a bit, but they still ask they still ask questions. And they should, because I mean, content creators, especially, I mean, a lot of us have a set schedule of how much, me alone, like me, for example, like this week alone, like so far I think I played more in this week than I have in a long time, just because I've had the extra time to stream during the day with and I've had these longer streams a couple times this week, but yeah, it's like on average though I'm doing like 12 hours a week. I'm sure there's players out there that do about the same, if not more, that aren't content creators, but at the same time, it's like they're not on a platform where they can just share that. They just can so easily go, oh yeah, to fix that bug, you gotta do this workaround or whatever. And we're the we're not paid by CIG at all, but and people who claim that there's people being paid by CIG to like stream it and stuff, they're just full of shit. If like, I would love it if CIG paid me to talk about them and play their game, but I know that's never gonna happen, But at the same time, like, I don't know. Yeah,
Well,
like I said, we're basically represented. We're like ambassadors of Star Citizen. I think that's the best way to put it. We're like the ambassadors. We're always telling people why they should get the game and what's great about it and where it's going and where it is.
well, some exceptions, obviously.
Yeah,
And I
some
think you know who I'm
exceptions.
talking about. But
Yes, I do. I actually was thinking of that person as I was saying that. I was like, oh, except that person.
well, there's actually a couple people, but they're the biggest ones, yes.
Yeah, there's a few
But
people. There's definitely a few content creators who play it, but also say, I wouldn't invest in it right now because, and that's fair. I think it's a
yeah,
fair thing to tell your viewers, especially for people who don't play it yet, who aren't even backers yet. Be like, yeah, give it like a year or two.
yeah, and it's a big thing. Once again, that's kind of unique about content creators is, yeah, nobody's. I can tell you from all of my kind of stuff and everything too, that I don't know of a single group that has received a single dollar. I mean, like obviously some of them receive ships give out as we've
But
talked
they're
about,
not.
but
They're not. That's for
but
that's to give back out to the community. That's
yep,
not that's not compensation in any form. That's just literally saying, hey, we want to use you as a vessel to give something to the community because it will benefit you more to do it than it will us. And besides, if
yeah.
CIG started doing giveaways themselves, that would open a whole fucking can of worms that they don't want to open.
Well, they've done it, but I think that they've realized that that had like a minimal impact versus if they do it through content contributors,
They
they
get
get 2 for 1. They
Yeah.
get like they get to give it out to the community. Like for instance, I think there's a ship associated with this holiday contest. But
Yeah, they do
they
giveaways for
also get
like
that.
that, but yeah.
They also get the respect of that content creator, which most like if more likely that content creator is going to say nicer things about them. So,
Probably. Who
well, the
knows?
ones that gave it to were all the ones that haven't been saying like a ton of negative things against them too. That's another thing I noticed.
Yeah.
Uh, but that's the nature of the game, right? Like anybody has any sort of marketing background, that
Mhm.
that's how it works.
It's an investment for them. Absolutely. But again, happy, super happy, and super like good job, CIG. Like that's a really great move to do. And they obviously, like you said, they send them to people who tend to have a pretty positive, or at least kind of middle of the road type of view on the game, and don't
Yeah,
generally say a whole lot of negative. But at the same time, they're all like good streamers. They're all really great content creators. They gave them to give away. So I thought that was really cool too. Like all
definitely.
five of those guys are really great.
You know what I just thought of?
Hmm.
Um, Trick. And I'm actually now forgetting his full name, Rex. I wonder if Rex got one.
Oh yeah, I
Never,
wonder if he did too. I bet he did. I bet he did.
probably,
I bet
but
he was.
nobody knows because he's
I bet
still
he
in
was.
Facebook land.
Yeah, I bet he was at least offered. If he didn't give it away, I bet he at least had one offered to him to give away. Because Rex is kind of one of their favorites too.
You know what, by the way, that I've noticed is, yeah, the numbers at Facebook and Mixer and YouTube have gone from like near nothing to at least some numbers have sources and live streamers and viewers. So that's been kind of cool.
Yeah, the live, the viewership, like we were talking about this before stream, the viewership for Star Citizen this time of year, all like at least in the fall, like we're actually at the part of the year where it's starting to fall off a little bit, but now that it's January, but fall is just it's nuts every year for the category, from what I can tell. I mean, as it's grown, right? Because like last year, like the peak viewership, or not, pardon me, last year 2018, like the peak viewership or something for like October was like 800, like average, monthly average. But then like it shot up to like 12, like it shot up to like, a little over 1200 I think this year, 1400, something like that, like almost double. And same thing, same exact thing for like it literally doubled, like for October doubled from like this year from last year's October, this year's November double from last year's November, and this year's December double from last year's. So as the game, as more interest comes around, it's just like fall just seems to be, and honestly, the fall is the most active time for Star Citizen in general, because it's when CitizenCon's happening. It's when what is it? The anniversary sale kicks off. Of course, kids, like college students and all that, they're getting off for like a whole month, so they got a whole month to screw off and watch Twitch and play Star Citizen. Just all kinds of factors coming together to sort of make fall like the season of Star Citizen, really.
Fall, winter, yeah. In
Yeah.
spring it starts at the end of the spring it starts to die for summer.
Summer, oh, summer is hard. Summer is so tough as a content creator for Star Citizen. It really is.
That's always when I tell people, whenever people ask me like thoughts on statistics and that kind of stuff, I always tell them if you're gonna take a break from twitching or kind of go lean, do it in the summer.
Yeah.
And then in like October, pick it back up to your normal schedule again.
Yeah. Definitely.
But
And yeah, but it's and of course we always, content creators like ourselves, we always appreciate all you guys out there that watch us like year round, and we understand when you guys kind of got stuff going on too, where you're not, it's like you're gone for a few months from watching and whatnot, but we do appreciate you guys. Like you guys, at the end of the day, like really, I mean, Star Citizen is fun and all, but what really makes it most the most worth doing the content creation stuff is really just the viewership. The viewership of this category is fantastic. It kind of polices itself when there's like uncouth things going on. Like if there's anybody coming around the community that's kind of, going to streams and being a shithead, the whole community like picks up on it fast. They're like, oh yeah. Like I don't know how many times like something's gone on in one person's stream and it's also happened to like two or three other people, and then by the time it comes around, like it's my time to stream, somebody's like, hey, there's been this guy today. And I'm like, okay.
yeah,
Oh
it's that kind
yeah.
of stuff that keeps making me wanting to try and get my freaking bot going, like finished. And
Yeah.
yeah, I need to like so we were kind of talking before. I'm gonna start working on
Yeah.
with at least parts of it.
But let's move on to, oh dang it. Beep to my ear. We have socks. What's next? I'll let you lead that one because that's like your thing that you added. So we have,
Yeah,
yeah. For those of you who don't know
so
what socks is, it's SSOCS. I'll let Penguins explain all that.
most of the bugs we've seen right now, which is still nothing compared to client-side OCS when it first came in, but it's issues with the server streaming things out before it's supposed to, and then apparently in some cases streaming it back in later in kind of awkward ways. But into the comment earlier, but server-side OCS, the next step from here to kind of get to the end game, which is a full mesh server where you can log in, and it doesn't matter, you can see all your friends, all your stuff is always there, there's no more wipes, all that kind of stuff.
Did you cut out, or is that me?
No, I had to mute for a second, sorry.
Oh, okay.
But the next step after that is we need to have some sort of persistence mechanism of that is shared amongst all these resources. And I'm gonna give some credit to wow, I'm blanking on his name, Board.
Board
On
gamer.
talking about, yeah, he had a really good thing that talked about this. It's something that I already knew from coming from my background, but he has a really good way of kind of like talking him to the
Mm-hmm.
detail. But the short version is this. We need a database that all this stuff is dumped into that is able to handle the amount of servers that this game is going to need. So it'll probably be some sort of like data warehouse situation. But the other flip side of that is it can't be kind of like the common ones that you see, like the cheap one, and I'm forgetting off the top of my head right now for AWS, because they need it to be super speedy. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
like in real time, things need to be written to that database and then pulled back out. Uh, so high amounts of IOPS, that kind of stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, once they have that, that's when they can move to tier 0 meshing. Um, that's the next kind of step after that. In which case, there won't be like 50 people can all, or 500 people. Actually, it's a better way of saying it. Can all be like on the same like server mesh and all can be friends and hang out at the same time. It'll actually be most likely where they'll say like, for instance, Yella has its own server.
Mm-hmm.
Porter also has its own server. Whatever they need to do, I'm sure they'll adjust it in the tier 0 as they need it.
Hey!
But it'll be like that. You cross the boundary, and then one server will pick up and stream stuff to you, versus and then the last one will stream out.
Yeah.
And uh, you know that tier 0, I honestly do expect will come out this year. They're making enough headway. They've got stuff going. I do expect before the end of the year. It might be late end of year 2020, but that they'll have that tier 0 implemented. And when they do get that implemented, it's gonna break everything once again.
Yeah. Nintendo breaks the game at the end of the year every year, so.
That they do. It's just so unfortunate going back to that whole, top time to stream kind of stuff and the most people looking at the game.
Yeah.
But, and hey, Phantom, welcome.
Just Fathom.
Fathom?
I know, I
Oh,
did, when he first started, he's one of my mods and viewers. When he first started coming around to my channel, I called him Phantom for a couple of streams, and I realized it was Fathom. Because it's just like, you're used to people having like Phantom, whatever, as their names on Twitch, and I took him in, I was like, wait, it's Fathom.
huh, that's
Yeah.
an interesting way of doing Fathom. I like it.
Yeah. Yep.
But, so anyways, that's kind of like the next kind of step, right? Is they got to get the database in place that they can have
Yeah.
persistence of assets that can be streamed at a high rate, and then after that they got to jump over to tier 0, and then from there they can go to the full map.
Yeah.
Now when they do tier 0, I think the word on the street is they're going to go to like 120 to 150 people
Yeah.
per like cluster, if that makes sense, because it still won't be like everybody's going to be on the same one.
It's
Oh,
true.
we have a question.
Oh, yeah. Do we have a question? Let's see. Considering that Squadron 42 is only 8 months away, CIG is going to pool all its resources into Squadron 42. How do you think CIG will keep players in the PU happy? That's been the $1 million question for like literally the last year. Erebus, they've already had everybody pulled. Like that's
Yeah.
it's not a matter of when this happens. It's already happening. It's already been happening. That's
If
the
anything,
thing.
I think they're actually starting to cut people back to the PU now because they've
Yeah.
got certain aspects of Squadron 42 done so they can free up resources to go back to the PU. That's why we're starting to see some of this movement on like Planet Tech V4 and whatnot, because they
Yeah.
already got everything that needed to be done in Squadron 42, so now they're back working on our stuff. That's why you're seeing some of this like stuff that all of a sudden just like appeared, is because, oh crap, now they went from like 10 to 100 people working on this. And that's not actually a real number, but
I mean,
as an example.
Erebus, just go back and review like however long you've been watching Twitch and stuff and Star System streamers on Twitch. Just look at this, literally 2019. I mean, literally the whole year it was like that. I don't know about 2018. It probably was true of some of 2018 too, but yeah, they had pulled that, like literally they had already had most of everybody at CIG on Squadron on these dev teams. Everybody was on Squadron already. And like he just said, like Penguins just said, they literally just now are getting to the point where they're starting to pull the teams away from Squadron 42 because things are done. So I'm not saying that your question's irrelevant. I'm just saying like that was a question like I probably would have actually been like, oh well, here's my thought like last year. And as far as last year went, I mean, I thought they did a decent job. I mean, there's always going to be people who are mad.
Well, and kind of to your point there, Biz, actually what happened with the salvaging is they realized they need server-side OCS in that database I was talking about. That database is also needed so they can tag assets and actually um, there's a couple of subsystems to that that need to be put in place to make it so they can actually itemize those ships and stuff like that to be able to be scrapped. And so that's actually the promise is they realized that they couldn't just make it so kind of deal and here we have that they realized they needed to actually put in server side OCS, which they have now. And that's
Yeah.
why they put so much resources into that. Like they knocked that out in like 6 months, which is impressive.
And it's still got a
Uh,
ways to go, but like, that's just literally for PTU, I mean, PU, because obviously they don't need server side OCS for a single player game. All that's been purely for Star Citizen itself.
Yeah,
And
but the
so,
teams that work on that and the main team that's the
oh
holdup
yeah,
for salvage is that actual back-end net code and item code, if you will, like those physicalized entity kind of engine stuff. That's all the same people that put server-side OCS out. So it was actually that they pulled them all to server-side OCS and are now working towards that tier 0 is
mm-hmm.
what that caused because they realized that they needed some more stuff put in place before they could do salvaging. So they've got all those people pulled to that.
Yeah. So yeah, we're at a point like the campaign once said, like where we just basically got through the brunt of them having to keep the PU, like keep people happy with the PU, while at the same time like most of their resources being put towards Squadron 42. Like I said, like you said, most of seems like the teams are starting to get broken off of Squadron 42 as they get finished, and more like it's Squadron 42 is like really moving forward from what we're hearing. I mean, we saw that visual update the other day, like what was that, last week, that came out like on Christmas, and that
Yeah.
trended on YouTube at like this. It was like the 16th spot on YouTube that day, which, it doesn't sound like really high up in the ranking, but when you consider how many millions of people watch YouTube a day, that's a huge deal to be in the top 20.
Definitely.
And I wonder how many people like watched that and thought, "Whoa, what's this? I want to check this out now." So it's kind of a big deal. I mean, Squadron, and I don't blame him for, like we were talking about this earlier. I don't blame him for putting so much effort into Squadron 42 because it's going to be the cash cow. It's going to be what makes the big money for CIG. Like the sales on Squadron 42 alone could trump everything we've ever backed if it's played right. If it's marketed right and it's also released the right way. So really,
Yeah.
once that game is ready to go, that is going to be like marketing's going to be doing some really hard work. And I hope that and I trust CIG to do it well. But yeah, marketing's going to be a big deal for Squadron 42.
It's also interesting though, because the gaming industry as a whole is going away from single player games. I mean, there's some exceptions to that, obviously, but there's been entire, especially like within the FPS category, they've completely went away from single player games. Same with like obviously BR is completely not. So it's a lot of MMO type game. So it's
Yeah.
unique that they're coming out with this, but I think that it's the right time. Space has been in the news a lot lately. People are starting to think about space again,
Yeah.
which by the way, I'm super ecstatic about. So I think that we'll start to see this resurgence of people wanting to go play like a really well thought out game with, I mean, it's amazing actors and stuff like that. Like, what's not
Yeah.
to love?
And not only that, like, look at remember Mass Effect? I mean, Mass Effect was a space game, right? But it was
Hmm.
also a single player role playing style game. Like you had to make choices. And Chris Roberts is big into that. That's one of his big things as a developer, is like choices and how they impact the way the game is played for you for the rest of the course. Like, and I'm just interested to see how much of this, like the way the story of Squadron 42 is going to work out for the individual player. And if it's, because I think, like, obviously it's not at all going to be the same as Mass Effect. I mean, they're two different games, right? But the thing is it has like Mass Effect is a good example of like good storytelling, but also like good options for choices for the player. And of course, at the end, there are some people who would say, toward the end of Mass Effect, it really failed because it said it wasn't going to basically be A, B, or C, and it was exactly A, B, or C. And I'm wondering if like Squadron is going to be like one of those games that's really tracked. So it's like the ending's just basically going to be the same. It's either way you do it, like just it's just going to be slightly changed, or if it's truly going to have like some radically different endings.
Well, and the other big thing that they've already actually said that they're definitely planning to put in is um, what you if you whether you play it or not, but also what you do in Squadron 42 will affect certain missions and certain things within the Resistance universe too.
Oh,
Like,
really? I didn't even know that. Oh.
yeah, that was one of the things I think 2 or 3 Citizen Cons ago that they talked about
Mm.
that they're planning to do. Where like maybe if you did Squadron 42, you can actually take certain military missions, or you might actually be able to land at certain military
Like
locations.
basically, you might get extra content for completing the game instead of it being like, oh, I'm gonna like download extra content. Like, oh yeah, let's get this DLC pack. It's gonna be like, no, you complete the game and you get content. You get new content or potential like benefits in Star
Yeah,
Citizen.
yeah, not necessarily per se new content, even though yes, you're right, also, but definitely benefits where the UEE Navy, for instance, might be more willing to come and help you and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I didn't even know that. That sounds pretty cool. But again, like I really hope that Squadron 42 is like because and it has to be because I mean it's Chris Roberts at the helm of it, and like we said like I was saying earlier, he made some really interesting he made you make some really interesting choices from what I've been told in his past games and some
yeah,
and things like that. And so I'm hoping that now that he's what 20, 30 years older and wiser, hopefully, and of course he's got this amazing team of people that have been developing this game with him. It's not all on Chris Roberts. Like people give Chris Roberts tons of credit for like Star Citizen and any content related to it, but it really at the end of the day he has an excellent team and he built this really excellent team. So I mean, if and I'm not saying he should be discredited, but I'm saying he should be he we should also give credit like the lore team obviously probably did a lot of like the writing on what this game like the plot of this game. So if we think the plot's really great, we've got to look at the lore team and go, wow, you guys did an amazing job too, and not just go, oh, Chris Roberts, you're the best. It's like, no, he's like 650 people that worked for him. Like obviously obviously he chose some really great people too. So him and the
yeah.
other team, the people involved. So it's just, I'm
And once again,
excited.
not to toot their horn too much, but the lore for Star Citizen is probably the best I've ever seen. So, but yeah,
I can't wait for it to actually like kind of come together more in the game itself. Like for it to be more obvious and more like relatable because right now it's just a bunch of stories like and pieces to read on the website, and it's not that I don't want to go read them, but at the same time like it's nice to have somebody like the Astropub, Paul, like who kind of sort of filters through all of it and sort of he's the kind of guy who can read all of it and go, oh wait, this one that was just released this week relates to one that was released like 3 years ago. Like
yeah, and
he's got that mind for it, and I'm sure you do too, where you can kind of figure it out and piece it together. But when it's just a bunch of like, to me, it seems kind of random, which is cool. I think that's a good thing because it's probably like they're working piece by it's not like they're all working on one piece together. It's probably like this member of the lore team is actually like working on this series of stories, and then like this other person's working on these, and they all probably come together, I imagine, and sort of occasionally like kind of obviously they have to keep continuity between each other and what they're all working on, but it's
yeah.
it's 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 one of those things where it's just kind of cool because like I would like to get more involved in the lore. I just need the lore to be a bit more comprehensively put together for me to go read
Well,
it.
and a couple things on that, like Astropub, what he does is freaking phenomenal, and I think there's nobody out there who's done it better than him for the way that he did it, which was, as he said, kind of like a history teacher, kind of telling you general history, like if you want to know the lore, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Versus like where I kind of came in it, because I saw a bunch of people were going that route, where they did videos and stuff like and whatnot. Most of them that did do it didn't do it great, to be fair. Like that's just something Astro was saying even on the last show that we had him on, right? But the kind of what I went and looked at is, if I'm an org leader or I'm an org planner, trying to get stuff in motion as far advanced as I possibly can, what does the lore mean to me? And
Yeah. That's kind of
like
something I was thinking about. Yeah.
for instance, all of the lore posts about the different squadrons, and like what happened to them and whatnot that are in lore, I have a strong feeling if you know that lore, will help you in Squadron 42. So I'm starting to see, like my like kind of angle when I kind of look at it, and you and I were talking a little bit about this, that I'm actually planning to do something soon, but
Yeah.
is that why do you care? So,
Right.
but that there's a lot of stuff in there about like that kind of stuff. For instance, what planets should you do trading on? Which planets should you probably stay away from? What routes should you do based off of lore? All that kind of fun stuff. So,
That's pretty
yep.
cool though. Yeah, one of these days I'll get more involved in lore. Like Paul's series is always helpful to me, just because like the other, like he started a new thing when he talked. I don't know if he talked about this on here, but he did. No, he told me because I had to go save him the other day because he was stuck at Levski for like an hour in his stream, and I was like, I'm just done watching you struggle. I am here. I'm coming. I'm helping you. And he mentioned that he was starting a new format with Galactic Historian that was a little less like edit heavy for him, where it's like called the report, and it's basically just audio with like a little, like, it has some stuff in the background and being like, look, Galactic Historian report, and then it has like one of those things where it's like the wave line for the sound. And
Mm-hmm.
so he and I listened to his report on the Outlaw Confederacy, and I actually just recently started supporting him on Patreon for Galactic Historian. So I'm very excited about that because he had a vote up for what the next report's going to be, and so I voted. I voted. I voted.
Yeah, when he first came out with that, by the way, I was super nervous because like I said, the stuff that I've been working on, I've been kind of like considering whether to make it content or not. And I was like, please don't take all of the same things that I was going to do. And he did, and I was like,
Please,
whew.
please don't have
Like,
my ideas in your head too, please.
there's been a few people that have done that. Where like
Yeah.
I had this great idea, and like was
Dang
heading towards
it.
it, and then all of a sudden somebody came out and did it. I'm like, ah,
Dang it. You know.
yeah. But whatever, it happened.
Yeah, sometimes you think of something at the same time as somebody and that person just gets to it quicker, but it happens. So what's next? What do we have? So what ships do we see are missing? Are you talking about like flyable, like things that aren't yet flyable? Like what's going on there? Because you put that on there.
No, I'm saying, for instance, everybody knew that we needed a mole to show up, right? Because there was that you always have like a personal thing. You have a small
What just
starter
fell?
ship. You have like a small crew, and then you have a large crew, kind of set up for every single thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what do we see else is missing, like a medium, for instance, or like a large or something to that effect? And chat, definitely saying you guys should jump in on this.
Yeah.
Um, if you guys have some thoughts. I mean, I'm not talking about stuff that's already been announced or already is like out there. I'm talking about stuff that's completely like missing. It's a little bit of just kind of thinking. Um, for instance, like fill ships is a good one, right? Like we do not have a medium fill ship. We have a small one, which is the Vulcan. The Vulcan sounds right.
Yeah.
And then we've got the larger Starfare, but we do not have a medium. So like what's going to be the medium refill ship, right? Like um
Yeah, like
That's an
basically what's
example.
missing so far from what we do know. Like, when we consider everything that's currently flyable and things that have already been announced that aren't yet, that are like that are still in concept. Like, what are we kind of what gaps are not, like, what holes are there in, like, sort of our verse here, as it were. For me, and
Yeah,
I've said this multiple times, I think there needs to be some kind of ship that's dedicated to entertainment and
yeah.
not the 890J. Like, people will tell me, like, oh, the 890J. And it's like, no, that's like a luxury liner. I'm talking about something that's like for providing entertainment. And I've talked about it before. I always thought it'd be cool that, like, CIG makes a ship that sort of like lands and then it can like fold out into a stage, like a festival stage, and have multiple sizes, have like a small stage, or like a medium and a large. And I could see like that being like developed. I could see something like that being an origin ship, maybe. Because it seems like a lot of I mean, until like unless they just made a new manufacturer, I think it would be more appropriate for that type of ship to make like a series of like sort of entertainment based ships to be its own manufacturer. Like, because I don't ever see, like, in the real world, it's not like the same people who are making stage lines are making, like gunships. You know what I mean? Like, or I mean, pardon me, like tanks. So it's that kind of thing. It's that kind of thinking on my end. But what do you guys think? A small starter carrier? Interesting.
That would be interesting. Yeah, those aren't carriers. I mean, the Idris and Javelin are carriers, to some extent, but I get what you're saying. They're not technically carriers. They're like the Idris is not a
But how can
Corvette,
let me
but
ask
like a
some.
destroyer.
Are
Go
we
ahead.
talking about like carriers like is in the Kraken?
Yeah, the Kraken and the Bengal are like the two. Like the Bengal's a super carrier, right? And the Kraken's a
Mm-hmm.
light carrier.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I would argue that the Javelin is a medium, but the Idris is definitely a destroyer, technically, like that kind of level.
I
Um, the
I don't
players is
see
a
this point of a small carrier though. I really don't. I just don't. Like, a carrier seems like a ship by default that has to be medium or larger.
well, they could do one size smaller than the Kraken still, right? That it has like two pads. It's just meant to be for like local operations, like think special operations teams that come in and drop in and need like a base
Mm.
carrier. That's the only thing I can think of. That's actually not a bad idea, especially like once again, I'm thinking some of the stuff like the LCS class that we have right now within the Navy is not it is a light carrier, right? But it's literally just two pads. Like it can handle like a couple of helicopters or a Harrier jet. But it's meant for like when they go into operations, it's meant for small conflict or very pinpoint.
Well, chat, this is what happens when you make jokes, okay? Because you're not here telling me the stupid joke that you made. I can't tell that it's a joke over text, okay? So we talk about it. We talk about it.
Well,
So
and
we're
you know,
trolling you back.
it's actually not a bad idea to have like a little mini pocket carrier. Yeah, why not? Let's do it.
You included a kappa. I don't see your kappa. I'm scrolling up. There's no kappa up there, buddy. Oh wait, no, there is. Oh, whatever.
Yes, there is.
But online said he has a question for Jared.
But we don't have the
That's
soundboard
true.
ready yet. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, if you have a question for Jared, I can do my best to answer it for him. I,
Well,
I will
and another
try.
thing. So they've to another question. They have all but 100% said that they will have a like a hand like FPS style, if you will. They'll have a small, medium, large, and capital-ish. Sometimes not a capital, but something to that effect. At
Hmm.
least one per every category. Another one I'm thinking of, for instance, is we do not have a large ship for information and like knowledge and that kind of stuff. Like we've got a small one, we've got and a medium one. And once again, I'm blanking on names right now. I'm gonna blame the drugs, but
We also
um,
need to think in like terms of more than like small, large, or medium too, because here's the deal with Star Citizen ships is like I would consider like a small ship like a fighter size, right? I would consider a medium ship about like some people would consider a medium ship a Vanguard. you know, and then like, but is medium like, but and I would also consider a large ship like a freelancer because I have that because that's my largest ship. But is that a medium? Like, is it like the freelancer that's a medium, or is it the Vanguard that's a medium? You know what I mean? And
They
then
actually
like,
have kind of put out some stuff talking kind of what that actually means, by the way.
yeah, because it seems like
So they
there needs to be an XL, a double XL, a triple XL, like.
no, actually what it is, and this is actually there's I forgot the exact size for this, but it is small, medium, large, extra large, capital.
Okay.
So for instance, even a uh, Cutlass Black is still technically within like the medium category. So yeah, exactly. They break down by landing pad sizes.
Watch them
Um,
make like, and then but there's also gonna be ships that can't ever land on a landing pad. So
which a lot of cases are capital ships.
yeah,
That's
but
the
we have a
biggest
capital shipping game that can land on the largest landing pad. So I would
for now.
expect for now, but like I
Actually, that's not true, by the way. There's not a single landing pad that the 890 jump can land
hangar's fine. Let's just hangar. That's a hangar. But still,
on.
there are going to be ships that can never be landed, even in a hangar, probably.
Sure. I mean, like the Javelin, we saw what happened when a Javelin tries to land on Daymar.
Well, I mean, I agree with you, Core Fox. Like, how, yeah, think about it. How else will you spawn capital ships? But I mean, unless they're gonna, I mean, it's just something like a javelin can't ever spawn, and like that thing's way bigger than an 890J, isn't it?
Oh yes, the 890J is the smallest capital.
Yeah, it's the
But even it
smallest
cannot
capital.
land on any, it can't even land on an extra large pad, which extra large is kind of like the largest one you can do, which is the big pad, like the 00
So
at
you
for all
heard it
stars
here,
extra large.
guys. 890J isn't technically a capital; it's an XL. Sorry, no,
No,
I know, I'm just being a
I
troll.
said that it can't land on that. You cannot spawn or land an 890
Oh,
jump on an extra large pad at Port All Star or any space station. There's no place to land it. You
well,
have to land it in one
I
of the
know that,
hangars.
but yeah, but still, the
Uh,
hangars. I mean, I don't know. I just questions in my brain, you know.
but what's coming for that is all the capital ships will have to be docked outside of
That's
land-based
right.
hangars.
That's right. They'll have docking for those.
Yep.
That's going to be an
Uh,
interesting one to do.
that's one that I talked quite a bit about at
I rem-
Grim Hex.
yeah.
So
I remember you talking about this last week. I think it was you talking about why, or maybe it was Paul too. Somebody was talking about some. I get my days mixed and my people mixed up in my conversations just because I've heard so much. I watch so many freaking Star Citizen streamers, and I remember somebody was talking about like why docking isn't in yet and what's difficult about it, and like how basically it's like, you're having like you have like the containment grid that is the ship, right? And then when you dock, you're basically you're adding it to another containment grid and blah blah, blah. It's just like this whole thing.
well, and Corfox, that's actually, I'm hoping I'm saying that right, but that's another what I was gonna go to next, which is we've only got like the Mantis and a couple of other smaller ships for like the interruption stuff and EMP and whatnot. I'm expecting we do not have a extra large or a capital ship that can do that, so I expect that we'll get at least an extra large ship for that.
Yeah, tech warfare. I'm pretty sure they will have tech warfare. I mean, they already have a ship that's like. There's a variant of the Vanguard that's specifically supposed to eventually be for like hacking and things like that, like for actual tech warfare.
And then you've got the Herald is meant for that, as well as the one that looks like the freaking Millennium Falcon. That's the one that I couldn't think of. But either way, that one also is meant to be kind of like a tech warfare's hacking ship, if you will. So
Docking issue. How will orientation be affected? What if the ship or station is upside down in reference to the ship? I mean, it'll probably have like I'm sure they'll like the dock itself will be labeled like, you know, like it'll have some kind of like markings to tell you like, oh yeah, you need to be flipped this way to dock that. Like I'm pretty sure they'll think about that ahead of time Because obviously, when you dock, you don't want to like dock upside down, so that way when people are walking out, they just end up falling on their heads when they get into the station. You know. So I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure there will absolutely be some kind of system, or maybe there will be like an auto dock, like where it's like auto land, like you just kind of hold a button down and it just does it for you. But I'm
Or,
sure,
there'll be big like signs that says like this way up.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. There will
Yeah.
definitely be some kind of marking system.
I think even if they had an automatic system, they would have like this way up or whatnot. But
Yeah, like how you get like your hanger, or like whenever you call for a hanger or a pad and it shows you where it is. I'm sure there'll be like through that or through the UI or just on the asset itself, there will be labeling to tell you like which way to be oriented.
and another couple of areas that I'm kind of thinking about is, for instance, the Nautilus mine layer. There's only one of that side. I'm expecting that they'll have at least two more that they'll add into like the mine and like area. That's what I'm looking for. Essentially, prevention from people going into certain areas. So,
Mm-hmm.
and another big one is we've only have the Pioneer right now for doing building on stuff. And I totally expect that we'll see like a medium or an extra large to show up. So
Yeah. Yeah, I just think, and I like, and going back to what I said earlier about like the entertainment ship. Hey, no worries,
yeah,
Raven Queen. Just kind of going back to that sort of idea, not necessarily the idea of entertainment ship, but I would like there to be more classes of ships, like things that I'm not thinking of at the moment, but which, like, you know what I mean, like, because like what we're gonna have salvage, we're gonna have repair, we're gonna have medical, all this stuff, but like what's another like hole that could be filled here, like chat and yourself as well, penguins, like what's something else that we don't even have, like that's never been talked about or addressed that could be a ship in Star Citizen? Because
um,
we got cargo hauling, we got all this other stuff, we got basically your space basics, right? Like the things that you would assume like would happen in a game like this and with this kind of thing. But what is some kind of like archetype of ship that we're not thinking of?
I think that there's different types of resources that are going to require special ships. Like for instance, water. Trying to gather water out in the far ends of space, right? Like and actually shipping that up to stations and whatnot. I think we'll see stuff like that. I also think we'll see a ton more show up on planet side, like kind of stuff like flat out boats and planes that are only Atmo only and stuff like that.
Right. I don't know, but like for flyable, for things that the players can buy in the future, like either in game or like through backing, through pledges. I mean, what's something that they could do? What's something that they could be doing?
Well, then one last thing that I'll say is they're going to need more ships that can grow food and stuff like that too. That's another going to be a big one, and handle like that kind of stuff. But
So like biome type ships.
yeah, because right now we only have the Endeavor, and that's it.
My friend has
I,
that. He's really excited for that.
I have the Hope class Endeavor personally, so I have that is like a pocket carrier. But um, like we've got these mining ships that they're all mineral mining. We don't have any like the other types of mining ones, and we don't have like food, and we don't have like those other areas of
I mean,
resources that can
tractors
be
would
big
be
ones.
cool. I would love for there to be tractors in the game. If there's eventually going to be that idea of like, you could have a plot of land and you could do what you want with it. And some people are like, have really talked about in the past that I've heard like how cool it would be to be able to have like a farm. And I'm
Yeah,
like, it would be cool if there was something like a little tractor, like there were actually tractor, like basically farm equipment in the game.
and
Now that's just that to some degree that might be like scope creep or whatever
well,
it's
and
called, but
people have talked about like they want to go fishing off a boat in the middle of an alien lake, right, and catch
some people
alien
want
fish.
like actually like actual like either ships that can convert into like something that can float on water or actual boats to deploy from a ship.
Yeah, they have, and that's actually a good one there, Kingsley. But they have talked about like doing. They did confirm, for instance, they'll have water only and atmospheric only vessels. Like you can't take them outside of the planet. They'll have to be hauled in between if they need to be. So That
Yeah.
was one time that they did talk about in one of the calling all devs actually. So, but yeah, I mean, like that's actually a good point there. That's like we need some ships like firefighting ships.
Like
We do
basically
not.
like trade type ships that are only relevant really to surface.
Yeah, I mean, you need those kind of things when you start talking about like Earth and Terra and like these mega cities and whatnot, right? Like even to some extent, they're gonna have to go back and get this figured out for our corp. And they might be gravlev, they might not be like traditional wheels or anything like that, but yeah, that's another
Refining
good
though,
point.
refining ships seems like that's something that you would do. Like you would haul mineral to a refine like a plant. Like it doesn't seem like refining needs to happen in space.
Well, and to some extent, there are refining ships. The Orion, I think, is supposed to be able to do basic refining,
Mm-hmm.
as well as from the fuel side, there's actually the Starfire and whatnot do have refineries in them. So does the Freelancer Dare.
I
But
think
I
they
think
did.
like a dedicated mineral one would be kind of cool.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there need to be more multi-purpose ships as far as that kind of stuff goes. Like you're saying, like there needs to be like a ship that basically extracts water. Why not have a ship that extracts water but also has like the biome thing going on too? Because then like you could have a ship that's like, okay, we're growing plants in the ship, but we can also go get our like we can go extract our own water as needed. Like
And you know
because
what?
having two separate ships for that concept doesn't always make sense.
It doesn't, and I think that I agree. Like for instance, the Vulcan, right, is a good one where it's a multi-role ship.
Uh-huh.
I think they do need to do that where it's not necessarily great at anything, but it can do a lot of things.
Uh-huh.
But I do think that there should be kind of dedicated ones too. Totally got that idea, by the way, from the Expanse. So
The
from the water
Expanse.
ship, yep, the water hauling ships and stuff like that.
I call it the Spance.
Yeah, but
Oh,
I think
stretchies.
yes, remember the can
Remember the
and
kid?
remember
Both got
Air
go
Station.
die.
Remember Air Station.
Yeah.
But
Remember all the people who died in space in that fucking show. There you go.
yeah.
Eh.
But,
But I think we're at a
um,
good stopping point on that discussion, unless you had something else to offer for that one.
No, I just was gonna say like there's definitely areas that they can add more to, so keep an eye out. I think once they get to a certain point, that what they're gonna do is they're just gonna start adding diversity, right? Where right now there's some areas where there's like multiple brands doing the same ship at like different qualities and different aspects. But there's definitely certain ones where they have just one per like size. I think they'll come back and like
Yeah.
rework those so they have multiple variants. Like there'll be the crappy Drake version,
Mm-hmm.
like a Anvil or something version, etc.
Yeah. We're at a good point to talk about team and mayhem news. I'll go over mayhem news first. So, mayhem, don't forget to register for the next mayhem tournament. Exclamation point mayhem in chat will get you what you need to fill out for that. Penguins, why don't you kind of take over the mayhem stuff too, because that's sort of your wheelhouse more than it's mine.
Yeah, so a big amount of feedback we got back is that people did not want to have to do multiple week kind of ordeals that like went over 3 months just because life happens. So we're moving them to nothing but like micro tournaments, if you will, or micro leagues within a single day, within actually for each kind of category within a couple hours. Um, we're just gonna back to back knock them out. At the end of the day, prizes will be given out, and you're good to go at that point. So it's all gonna be single day events. It's looking like most likely we're going to push it, however, because 3.8 is so horrible for Star Marine. It's most likely that part especially is going to get pushed to 3.9.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll hope that they fix it by then. But yeah, that's definitely the biggest news on that. We did also add in some new modes and whatnot. We've got also some like sponsors and stuff involved. We're also hosting this with United Star Citizen Community and a couple others as well that are jumping in to kind of like co-sponsor this. So The idea is here in the not so distant future, once CIG can give us a good build, that we'll actually have Star Citizen Esports League essentially.
Right on. And then we've talked, so that's mayhem. So guys, again, exclamation point mayhem again for that. And I'm gonna kind of go from the top or bottom to top on these. So emotes, we have new emotes coming to the channel. Have they been approved yet?
They have not been approved, but I posted them about a week ago.
Okay, so we're waiting on approval for some new channel emotes for this channel, the Night Crew channel. So be on the lookout for those of you who subscribe, and those of you who want to subscribe. Those emotes will be coming eventually, hopefully, probably the next couple days if you put them out like a week ago on Twitch for approval. So new emotes on the way soon, TM. Next thing is PAX South. I will be at PAX South. If you're going to be at PAX South, you know anybody in this community that's going to be at PAX South, make sure that they're aware of the Bar Citizen that is happening at PAX South. I also have a Discord server dedicated to PAX South, Star Citizen, like, it's called PAX South Star Citizens or something like that. But I did a similar thing for TwitchCon where I made a Discord server for all the people going to TwitchCon that were Star Citizen streamers, viewers, enthusiasts, just anybody in general. And also, I, of course, CIG employees were also in that server for TwitchCon because there was some CIG representation at TwitchCon, with Tyler and Molly being there. And so basically I did the same thing for PAX South. And so we're trying to make sure everybody gets into that server. We got like 2 weeks to go before PAX South, actually. And if you know anybody that's gonna be at PAX South, and or you are gonna be at PAX South and you're involved in the Star Citizen community, please stop by at the Bar Citizen. Again, that server that I have will get you that information. But for that Bar Citizen, but there will be Bar Citizen that Saturday night at the I think it's called the Beer Garden. On the Riverwalk in San Antonio that Saturday night, and but apparently they always do a picture at the Alamo first. So we'll do a group picture there first, and then like 30 minutes later is when the Bar Citizen starts. But we will be doing that, and I'll actually have some Night Crew swag to give out. So if you see me, if you're going to PAX South, and you know anybody this, make sure that they come by Bar Citizen that night, because I will have some swag to give out to people at Bar Citizen. It'll be Night Crew swag, but I'll also have a special thing to give to a few select people at that from myself. That's gonna be pretty cool. It's gonna match my nails, my PAX South nails. So, and then next thing is we're at a point with the Night Crew where we're actually full. We basically are at the point where we have so many people in the Night Crew that we cannot possibly take on anymore. We've had some parties interested in being part of the Night Crew recently and things like that. And it's not that we don't want to, it's not that we don't want to take on new people, but it's at the same time, it's like we're at a pretty good number of people in each shift category, each time of the day. And we're basically at that point where it's like, we don't want it to get so big that it's like not special, that too. Like if it just grows and like half the community or something is in the Night Crew, then it just no longer becomes like special, to be part of the Night Crew. And I mean, I think no matter what, it would be, it's awesome. But at the same time, we're basically, we have quite a few people. We have like 20, 21.
20. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, it's not just even from like the special side of things, but like,
it's
from
more,
a management side
yeah,
of it too.
it
like
becomes
it's insane.
because it's already enough to manage like 20 people. I mean, even when we just had, like, when I first joined the Night Crew, there was maybe 10 of us, and then of course we had lost a few people. Yeah, and it was still like, it was still a bit of work. But now that it's like literally doubled in size, it's just like, whoa. There's like literally members of the Night Crew I don't think I've ever spoken to, just because like they're on a totally different time of day. Like, their daytime is my like sleep time or whatever. Like, though I'm pretty sure I've spoken to everybody, but you know what I mean? Like, it's that idea of like, there's so many of us that I don't get to individually talk to everybody as a management person very often. There's some people I talk to all the time, and there's some I don't get to I don't get to see very much at all. So that are in our crew, but whatever. And so now we have like basically near round the clock coverage. So there's always like usually almost every any given time in the Star Citizen category, you should be seeing a member of the night crew streaming, at least one, if not several. There's certain shifts that we have that seem to have more people, but yeah, I mean that was kind of our goal with the night. One of our big goals with the night crew overall over at least while I've been here is to basically always have at least one night crew member on at any given time. And
Yep,
so,
that's been the vision.
yeah, and with 20 people, and of course, people have different schedules. So, like, it's like me, I do like 3 nights a week, right? And I do 2 nights a week at a certain, like, at a specific time, and then like one night a week where I'm up, like, literally right after this show. So it's like, some of it, like, with 10 people, you would think that would have been the original 10 people, that would have been more viable, but it's like when everybody's not on all the time, like, it's like not all of us are on Twitch on 7 days a week, or 5 days a week. Some of us are only on 3 days a week, or we're on, just once a week. Even like Maddie's one of our members who's only on once a week right now because of his life schedule. But yeah, that's how it is. So, and then like as far as what are shifts, why don't you tell them about the shifts, Penguins?
Yeah, so it's a management construct for us, mostly from the administrative side and for planning side. We
Mm-hmm.
essentially took the time and we broke it into 6-hour increments using
Yeah.
UTC as our base. So we have 4 shifts that are 6-hour blocks. All of our members of the team are categorized into each of those shifts for the primary area that they actually stream to.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're in our server, our Discord server, you'll actually see that we have all of our people kind of put that way, so you can actually figure out like what streamers will be on during certain times of the day if you want to.
Yeah.
We'll also be posting another kind of thing at work in progress is our website's actually being started on right now. And so within on there, you'll actually be able to see an interactive schedule and also a one pane of glass look, and you can see all of our streamers on at the same time and all their chat in one location if they opt into co-stream and whatnot. So
Yeah.
it'll be kind of cool.
Hey, John
But,
Juan, what's up?
but yeah,
But yeah, so that's what's been going on with us. Like we're basically just at max capacity for the team now, and it's a good thing. And of course, we have a little bit of turnover rate every now and then. We have people who want to like they maybe they have like life happen, so they're like, hey, I don't think I'm gonna stream for a while, or hey, this is a whatever. But we'll see how it goes, But for now, we're at max capacity. No more new members of the night crew. We've got enough. And then the last thing on team news is Hex Talk. Hex Talk is a new show that's going to be starting. When is that? That's not tonight, is it?
no.
Yeah.
So it'll be the night of the 10th, the morning of the 11th, depending on which time zone you're in. So for instance, I think it's at 11 p.m. Pacific time and 2 a.m. Eastern
So
time.
basically next week. Next
Yes.
week it'll start.
Yep. But that is our pirate themed show. It's called Hex Talk.
Yeah, and it's gonna be kind of not just pirate themed, but I like to say kind of the dark underbelly of Star Citizen in general. Like criminals, like criminal activity, how to do all kinds of stuff. I mean, there's some still development going on with it, but like next week, whether or not we have it fully developed to what we want it to be, it's going live. So
Yeah, like I'm thinking even some of like the bounty hunting and whatnot stuff will end up in there too, because it's kind of like the underground side of things. So that's where you'll hear like what's the current meta builds on ships, for instance, for doing PvP, and the meta for FPS and all that kind of stuff that normally you wouldn't see on a normal show. That's still important if you're working in that realm.
yeah, that might be the kind of show where you might come and ask, like, hey, what's the current if I have like an arrow, what's a good build to put on it, or what kind of weapons should I put on it to like,
Or or like, where's a good place to put my mantis? That'd be another like good one to put there, right? Like, where's a
Yeah.
good place to kind of like interrupt trade runs and stuff. So
Or where, where's a good place so that I can find like, like what cave seems to be the most active, so if I want to go gank everybody in that cave, I can. You know, that kind of stuff. Like not necessarily teaching you how to like grief, but definitely trying to teach people like, hey, here's what it is right now. Like so I mean anybody can grieve, but yeah, but still it's part if it's gameplay, it's gameplay, right? So yeah, just
yep.
be ready for that. Be keeping your ear on the ground. Like I said, it's next week that it will go live. And like he said, for some of you it might be like early in the morning on the 11th, and then others it might be like kind of late night on the 10th that it starts. So
Once again talking about like the shifts. It's aimed at our second shift folks. So
yeah,
you'll see, for instance, probably Judalux will make appearances on that one as an example.
yeah,
Tim Sigma, Chody, like those
yeah. People who tend to
amazing
stream
streamers.
later, yeah, later at least later than now, this moment. So we are at a point where we're kind of out of topics on our lists of topics. So if y'all have any questions, please do ask questions. And we'll probably take a few more minutes just hanging out here if you guys got any questions. But honestly, we might end this one early tonight because I'm actually feeling pretty tired tonight. I'm supposed to stream after this, and I'm feeling very tired. So at some point, I've got to figure out how I'm not going to be tired.
Go pop a Red Bull or something.
I don't do energy drinks, you know. I might make a coffee, like a little coffee, like just a little tiny coffee or something, or yeah, I might just do a coffee. I have some like I have I think I have a little bit of soda that has caffeine in it, but I think it would be a wiser choice to have like the small like a half cup of coffee. So yeah, it is a quiet show tonight, Heavy Bob. It seemed like a lot of people weren't available for tonight's show. Some people were sick. And some people are still dealing with holiday travel and the after effect of like the new year and things like that. So it was a pretty skinny show tonight. But
Yeah,
Penguins
and
and I did just fine. So
a couple of other like really sad news items too and whatnot too. Yeah. So, but we do definitely still appreciate all of you guys showing up. As we were saying though, like this is the first time in a year that you guys have had like pretty much the management team on the show to ask anything. If you want to ask things about like the night crew, you're welcome to as well. To some extent, we'll answer
we're
it.
literally the best two people to ask. But oh god, I keep straight. I could like. I'm just so like. I'm so tired. I'm so tired. I finally reset my sleep schedule last night, and I was streaming last night, and I was in. I tried to play. I played. What was it? I played. I did makeup first, so I started stream earlier than usual. I did makeup first, and then I started playing Stardew Valley with what's his face, Dr. Drones, and
Hmm.
then I ended up like I was like, okay, well, Dr. Drones, he ended earlier than me, and he was like, hey, it's time for me to go, yada yada, and I was like, all right, bye, and he rated me and everything, and then I sat there and like I tried to play Star Citizen, I maybe played for I could barely play. I was like literally like I was like feeling myself almost falling asleep at the wheel. Like, I mean, the only thing that was keeping me from truly falling asleep was the fact that I was just talking to my viewers. I have
Oh, what?
questions. They'll come or 2 or 3 hours. Well, we won't be here for 2 or 3 more hours. Uh, but save it for the next show for sure, John Juan.
Another thing to note, because we didn't really say about the emotes, but it's actually like a little mini robot character that was created as kind of like a mascot.
Yeah, he's like our
Uh,
little channel mascot. He's cool. He looks good.
but um, our mascot still needs a name, so we will be probably posting to Twitter for people to pick a name, and whoever wins will get like a $10 gift card.
There you go. But yeah, it's shut up, Heavy Bob. Stop lying to people. Heavy Bob's the village troll. He's our bridge troll. He lives under the bridge. He trolls everybody. He demands a toll to cross the bridge. Mascot man named Dumbledore Calrissian. That's pretty funny though. What Microsoft do for Windows 7? Get a night crew waifu. Oh my god, Heavy Bob. But I think, we're just going to go ahead and start wrapping up. So, Penguins, why don't you tell the people who you are, where you is, what you do?
So I'm Penguins. I lead this little team called the Night Crew. I'm also a bar citizen coordinator for Pacific Northwest. I also am working on a bot called MiniObot that'll get rid of trolls. And other nefarious types. So you guys will be starting to see me actually stream that soon. I'm also kind of diversifying my streams a bit more to let's just say life is making it so I need a little more dynamic times that I can't sit and stream for 3 to 4 hours most nights anymore. Especially with a baby penguins coming on along the way, so that'll definitely.
Wait, what?
Oh, you missed that announcement. Yes.
What? Y'all
So,
pregnant?
yes.
How far along?
9 weeks.
Oh my goodness. Whoa, dude. Some shit's about to happen for you, man.
So that being said, you guys will start to see me do more YouTube and TikTok content, but I will also still do some streaming on Twitch and stuff, obviously too. And obviously, you'll see me on the show every once in a while to throw my wonderful hair into the mix.
Oh my god, I can't believe y'all are pregnant. That's crazy. Did you talk about that last week or something?
I talked about it on my stream. I haven't.
Oh, okay.
I'm not
yeah,
talking about a ton.
Yeah.
I'm still kind of keeping it somewhat under wraps for a couple more weeks, but yeah.
Wow, that's nuts. Yeah, and especially like early on, like especially first pregnancies and things like that. Like you never know what can happen. So I hope obviously all the good things happen. But I get like a lot of families, like I've known people, like I've known women that like they won't even tell their family till at least the second trimester.
Yeah, my wife is refusing to tell actual family. I know
For
none of
good
them watch.
reason.
So.
You don't want to get like grandma's hopes up and then like something happens and it doesn't happen at that moment. You know what I mean? Yeah,
Yeah.
Penguin's pregnant. He got pregnant. His wife got him pregnant.
Yep. If you guys can keep it off of my channel or like any of my social media, it'd be appreciated. But yeah, but that's
it's kind of a personal thing that he's trying to.
But
sorry, anyway, I made such a deal about it. I was like, "Whoa, what?"
All that to say, I'm moving to being like a mixed content streamer in the near future. So, yep, that's what to say about me. I will be streaming over the weekend and stuff like that because I also my stream PC. That's why I don't have a camera. And what about you, Buster?
Well, you guys usually know what's going on with me. I stream Star Citizen on Tuesdays and Wednesdays from 7 to 11 p.m. here in the Central Standard Time Zone. And then once a week I kind of host this thing called the Night Crew Show. You may have heard of it. And then about an hour after the Night Crew ends is when I start to stream on my channel again. Tonight I will likely stream. I'll probably start a little bit earlier. Since it's like, what time is it? It's like we're about to end basically about 20 or 15 minutes early. So I'll probably start my stream about 20 to 15 minutes early at least, if not sooner. So just keep an eye out for me here in the next like 30 minutes to 45 minutes. I'll get started, but I don't think I'll go a full 4 hours tonight because I am so wiped out tonight. and I'm feeling it. I've got to make a little tiny bit of coffee or something. I've got to do something to get some energy into me. And then yeah, like, you know, and other than that, like, TSMR has been on pause for a bit. The Spice Must Roll, but we're gonna start doing a little bit of a Star Trek thing for just a little while, like temporary, probably a few sessions of like the Star Trek Adventures game. Paul and I need to get together and decide who's DMing, because I've offered to DM. He's also offered to DM. He seems to be interested in DMing. I already know how to DM that game, so it's kind of like, does he want to play? I'm more like, do you want to play this time or do you want to DM? That's kind of my thing with him right now. So, but you know, but eventually TSMR, the Expanse RPG, will come back probably sometime in February or March. And then, yeah, and again, I'm at PAX South in 2 weeks. My birthday's also in 2 weeks, so, you know, give me Twitch money. Thanks. No, but seriously though, my birthday's in a couple weeks during PAX South, so if you know anybody going to PAX South, Star Citizen stuff, make sure they get in contact with me. I'll retweet my stuff soon about that PAX South stuff, but yeah, that's me, you know, just doing my thing, being a buster, yada yada. But I'll see you guys. I'll see you guys in a little bit on stream. But let's find somebody to raid right now. Let's
We haven't
see.
done certain tickles in a long while.
I was actually thinking of him, and I was also thinking of the Few, because the Few's further down the list. And I've been trying to get him on the show for a while, so maybe rating him will make him go, oh.
Speaking of guests, if we still need to, if anybody knows anybody that wants a guest that's a streamer, just let us know. We may be closing the team down, but we're still open for guests.
Oh, yeah, okay, we will love
people.
having guests.
Yep.
So yeah, it's either the Few or the Tickles. Tickles has got 101 right now. The Few's got like 34.
We can do the feud this week and maybe tickles next week or something.
Yeah. Raid the Few. Boom. So there we go. Got the raid command in. Everybody stick around for that raid. Thank you so much for hanging out tonight. Shorter show than usual, but no, we're not shutting down. We're just no longer accepting new members. But yeah. But y'all have a good evening. Y'all have a good week. We'll see you again next week. And don't forget, next week also will be the beginning. Like, we'll finally start Hex Talk, the new show. That will air just basically a few hours after this show's over. Next week, so.
Well, it'll be about 24 hours.
Oh, 24? Oh, I thought it was only a few hours later. Oh, well. But yeah. About, like, a little.
Because it's Friday night / Saturday morning.
Okay. Right on. Well, anyway, everybody, have a good one. We'll see you next time, and thank you so much for stopping by. We do appreciate each and every one of you very, very much. And y'all take care. I'm gonna start hitting the raid button now. So
what are we singing today?
Oh, dang it. Since it was New Year's. Let all acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind. Let all acquaintance be forgot for auld lang syne. For auld lang syne, my dear, for auld lang syne. Let all acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind. There, the stream.